Welcome back for Commodities Update. Now we see almost every commodity has witnessed a stratospheric surge in prices in the last fortnight. This is due to the invasion of Ukraine and the possibility of an escalation in the war. Particularly, the global food price index is up about 3.9% to an all-time high of 140.7 points in February. Russia is the third largest producer of wheat. Ukraine, ninth place. Both countries account for over 30% of global wheat exports, and the global price of wheat has increased by 152% to $45,342 per metric ton in the last 2 years. Let's talk to Favor Ogunraye now, analyst at Financial Derivatives Company. Great to have you, Favor.
Thank you for having me, Nadia.
Yeah, so what is the short and long-term impact of, higher wheat prices on the Nigerian economy? Bear in mind that food inflation currently stands at about 17.13% in January 2022.
Okay, so if you analyze the uptrend in the wheat prices, you see that this spike is as a result of the rising risk of a supply shortage due to what's happening between Russia and Ukraine. You see that the wheat shipments coming from these two large producing countries, we think that they cannot be accessed, and there's also this complexity that comes with having to navigate the sanctions that have been imposed on Russia rather. And for Ukraine, you see that their agricultural activities are they are experiencing some sort of unexpected situation where farmers can't go to the fields to carry out their usual activities. And we've seen that some of these farmers have even joined the military just before the next planting season. And what countries are doing to mitigate this risk is to either, expand their local production, or they are forced to stock up, imported wheat. But then for a country like Nigeria, we can't really depend on our local production because we locally produce about 2% or less of the wheat we consume. So that means that, due to imported inflation, the price of the cost of flour, of bread, of pasta, of all these pastries will increase. And if you also consider the exchange rate pass-through effect, that would significantly push these prices up. But then that will happen in the short term. But then in the long term, a lot of factors will come into play. And that includes, the success rate of CBN's rain-fed wheat program that was launched last year, and also how the government is able to manage the insecurity that is happening in, the wheat-growing areas in the northern region. So all of this coming together will show us the extent to which Nigeria can be self-sufficient in a situation like this.
Right, and Flour Mills of Nigeria is a dominant player in the flour milling industry, and Olam, I think, ranks second. Both companies control about 90% of the market share. What would be the impact of, increasing global wheat prices on the company's performances for 2022?
Well, there will definitely be cost implications. So the production cost of, flour, of all these flour derivatives will actually increase because wheat is an important input that is used, and, the price is going up. And then we've also seen that this upward trend in the global price of wheat is actually feeding into the price of local wheat here. So for Flour Mills of Nigeria, who has this, backward integration program, we see that, and the program includes some sort of strategic partnership with farmers. But then we expect that they will still feel the heat either internationally or locally. But what they can do to reduce the impact on the bottom line performance would be to pretty much pass on costs to consumers in form of increase in the price of their product. But then the extent of that price change is actually quite dependent on consumers' behavior, because that will affect the volume of the products that will be sold. So in 2022, we could see a slow growth in the top line and the bottom line, compared to 2021.
All right, let's look at consumer reaction now. We've seen a bag of flour prices surge about 151% about 12 months, but we've seen prices of beans and garri down about 58 and 3%. At this point, do you see consumers switching, substituting at this point?
Well, theoretically, if you look at the concept of cost elasticity of demand, we see that the price of one product, the change in the price of one product will affect the demand in another product. And, that kind of relationship is positive if you look at substitute goods. So, in this context where the price of bread, the price of flour, pasta has actually increased, and then the price of garri and of beans has declined, and if you also consider consumer disposable income, which is relatively constant, it's natural for us to see that switch, or they could either reduce their consumption level if they actually consider this flour consumer goods a necessity. We could see them reduce their consumption level, or they will switch to rice and to beans and garri.
Right. So anyway, we'll keep watching how it all unfolds with all the supply disruptions at the moment. All right, Favour Ogunore, thank you so much, Analyst Financial Derivatives Company. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.